is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
Overnight, more than 1,000 police raided the Occupy Los Angeles encampment in a park outside City Hall. After a series of dispersal orders, police arrested scores of people as they carried out the eviction of what has been the largest Occupy camp in the country, which began on October 1st. Meanwhile, Occupy Philadelphia protesters vacated their encampment earlier this morning after more than 1,000 police moved in and warned them of mass arrests. For an update, we go to Los Angeles, where we're joined via Democracy Now! Video stream by a National Lawyers Guild legal observer who witnessed the eviction. He was inside the Occupy LA encampment when the raid began. And in Philadelphia, we're joined on the phone by Jeff Rousset. He's been with Occupy Philadelphia since its inception. He was there today during the raid of the Occupy camp. He's also the national organizer for the Prometheus Radio Project.
Ken Montenegro is the legal observer in Los Angeles. Tell us what happened there as it's taking place, even as we broadcast, Ken.
So this morning, thank you, Amy, for providing coverage to this, which is something that probably won't get the coverage it deserves from this angle. Consistent with the other evictions or ejectments of the other Occupy locations, it was almost like blitzkrieg. It was a sudden, rapid deployment of troops. Really police officers on foot in military riot-style gear come into the park, cordon off sections of the park. Well, actually, it's a City Hall lawn. We're contending in a lawsuit that it is not a park. So the City Hall lawn, and started to force people out or threaten people with arrest, move the public out of the line of sight, allowed effectively embedded or authorized, I think is a term they're using locally, teams from some media outlets into the park to film or document, if you will, what happened. But it was heavy-handed. It's my understanding that there are more than 1,400 LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department officers deployed for the eviction of Occupy LA. That doesn't factor in the number of sheriff's deputies. The buses that were used were sheriff's department buses, and the type of equipment that was used was really just kind of off a military lot or something. It was just very, very heavy duty.
In Philadelphia, Jeff Rousset with Occupy Philadelphia, national organizer for the Prometheus Radio Project. What happened there overnight?
Hi, Amy. So on Friday, the city ordered us to leave Dilworth Plaza, to leave City Hall by 5 p.m. Sunday. At that time, there were about 1,000 people supporting us, including some folks from Occupy Wall Street. Since then, the numbers dwindled, but we've maintained a presence at City Hall. Occupy Philly over the last 2 months has been quite different from other Occupy movements in that the Philadelphia police has been very hands-off. There has not been any police brutality. Those of us here thought that was because the city was really being careful of its public relations image, being that Philadelphia is unique in that it's the so-called birthplace of free speech and democracy. However, all that changed this morning at around 1 a.m. The city shut down the subways. They barricaded all of City Hall, about 2 blocks in every direction, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cops poured in. They forced everybody off the plaza. Some folks decided to stand and link arms in the street, while another group went out on a march and kind of marched around the city. Eventually, the police gave orders to disperse and told everybody to get on the sidewalk or else they would be arrested. A handful of folks stayed in the street linking arms, doing in an act of civil disobedience. They were arrested. After the rest of us, about 40 people moved onto the sidewalk. Out of nowhere, about 5 cops on horseback on these huge horses came in out of nowhere, and one of the cops on horseback charged into the crowd that was on the sidewalk, trampled one person, actually my coworker Vanessa, who is now in the hospital, possibly with some broken toes. She was saved by 3 men who were able to grab her by both arms and pull her out from underneath these horses. Other people were hit by horses as well. Shortly after that, people remained on the sidewalk. We had other protesters arriving who managed to get past the barricades, and they told us that other protesters had been choked. At least 2 people had been choked in another location. A cop pulled a knife on someone walking up the sidewalk.
A knife?
A knife. That's right. After some more standing around, just totally outnumbered by cops, the other march was on Broad Street, and we got word that there was a confrontations going down. So we hurried over there and continued to march up Broad Street while cops attempted to trap us and pen us in using their bikes as barricades, and also using bikes as weapons to hit people. I have an open case from getting arrested at Comcast a few weeks ago, so I was trying to maintain a safe distance and just film, yet this white shirt police officer actually grabbed me and told me I couldn't go across the street and shoved me back into the crowd in this attempt to trap protesters. The police were slamming people on the ground, attacking people apparently arbitrarily. A woman called a female police officer a name, and the cop just punched her right in the face. Eventually, the march continued into a narrow street, and cops totally surrounded and trapped people. Again, they attacked people.
How many arrests were there, Jeff?
They let some go, and they ultimately arrested about 50 people in that one spot.
And the Occupy encampment is gone now at Occupy Philadelphia in front of the City Hall?
After they forced everyone off the plaza, the cops tore down the tents, tore down the shelters, and you couldn't really see much besides police and kind of stuff, debris flying in the air.
Jeff Rousset and Ken Montenegro, I want to thank you both for being with us. Jeff Rousset from Occupy Philadelphia, Ken Montenegro, legal observer with the National Lawyers Guild, during this morning's eviction of Occupy Los Angeles, graduate of People's College of Law. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the